India and Greece share a close relationship. We have seen high-level visits, including the ongoing visit of the Greek Prime Minister to India. With me is Greece's Foreign Minister. Sir, welcome to WION. It's a pleasure speaking to you here in Delhi this time. My first question to you is, how do you see India-Greece relationship? We have seen high-level engagement and the relationship becoming much more substantive now.
India and Greece share a lot of common values. We are two nations with great history. We have full adherence to international law. We share values. We are nations that are based on principle-based and rule-based international environment. I think we do share a lot of common, and it was an outstanding opportunity that Prime Minister Modi was in Athens last August, and we upgraded our relationship to a strategic one. I think there is a huge upside when it comes to economic and cultural interaction between the two countries. India is a great nation, is the fifth largest economy, and in the meantime we expect to have a significant upgrade in our ties. It is important that alongside with the Prime Minister and myself, we have here in India also more than 100 business people, and they have the opportunity to interact with Indian entrepreneurs in various sectors, including energy, construction, agriculture, tourism. So we think there is an excellent opportunity for the two nations to develop.
So essentially now let's go into the nitty-gritties of this relationship. One has been the connectivity. We saw the focus a lot on how there can be a direct connectivity, and in that aspect the India Middle East Europe corridor is something that was announced by India during the G20 summit. How do you see this connectivity project panning out?
Connectivity is the future of nations, because the world should be a single unit. We need to work very closely, and we consider that IMEC is not only an economic corridor, but it's also a corridor of peace and culture, because exactly through that type of connectivities, of products, of materials, but also of cultural goods, I think people could get together, and people-to-people relationship is the most important nowadays. What we see is that this corridor essentially takes back to history with the interconnection between India, the Arabic states, and Europe, and we really think that Greece should be a key player in this respect, not only because of its geographic location. As you know, Greece is the closest continental country to Middle East and to India, but also Greece possesses very strong ports. We do have the port of Pyos, one of the largest ports in the Mediterranean Europe, and this could save more than 7 days of trip when ships arrive in Pyos. We also possess other significant ports in the northern part of Greece, but also Greece has a very strong commercial maritime fleet, and this could be of an outstanding use, I think. Further, we have developed strong synergies concerning data transfer, and we have become also energy hub. As you know, Greece in the last few years has developed a large network of interconnectors concerning green energy. Greece is a pioneer state when it comes to green transition. We're very concerned with climate crisis, and we have made some significant steps in order to employ green energy, especially renewable energy sources. And we are now in the process of developing connectivity also with Egypt and Central and Northern Europe. So I think this connection, the IMEC connection, will be a strong tie of friendship and peace, but also of development of economy, especially for India and Europe.
Do you think this IMEC project is being impacted by the ongoing conflict in West Asia, the Israel-Hamas conflict? Does it has the potential to delay the entire project?
First of all, the situation in the Middle East is really appalling. The humanitarian catastrophe in the Middle East is outstanding, and we need immediately to take, as international community, significant steps in order to stop the hostilities and allow for fully fledged humanitarian aid to enter the Middle East and especially the Gaza region. On the other hand, when it comes to the connectivity projects, it could be some delay because of the current situation. The truth is, however, that this is a visionary project. This is a long-standing project, and we are fully of the opinion that this will develop irrespective of the situation that we hope it will stop very shortly. Greece will do everything in its power to further develop the construction of the IMEC corridor, and we had very meaningful and constructive discussions with the Indian government while being here in New Delhi, and we laid down the next steps for the IMEC project, but as well as all other economic and cultural relations that we need to develop in the near future.
Mm-hmm. So next steps, anything, any working group meeting planning, if you can give us certain details regarding that?
First of all, we are going to be in very close relationship and interaction with the Indian government on all layers. We have concluded a number of MOUs and agreements that we need to follow up, and we have established a multi-layer approach when it comes to the rapprochement of the two governments. On the other hand, we consider, and we share this opinion with the Indian government, that we need further to develop also the multilateral approach in the connectivity project. This is why we think that we should get in touch also with the Arabic states, with the United Arab Emirates, with Saudi Arabia, in order to have a holistic view concerning the IMEC project. We think that the roadmap should be very strict with specific milestones and specific deliverables.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned about the Pyos port. Any kind of conversation happening between the two sides over that specific port?
Greece wants to be the doorstep, the gateway of India in Europe, and I think Pyos should be a key actor in this respect. It is very significant that the port of Pyos is a free port. There is a huge volume of goods going through Pyos, and it is essentially open-gated to India. We made some broad discussions concerning the interaction with Greek ports. As you know, India is already present in Greece with some significant projects. For example, we do have an emblematic construction now of the new airport of Kasteli in Crete, the largest Greek island, which is essentially run by an Indian company in conjunction with a Greek construction enterprise. So we consider that Pyos offers huge investment opportunities for India, and we have laid this before the Indian government.
Mm-hmm. So moving from connectivity to the larger geopolitics, how do you see India's role when it comes to multilateralism? What's your position when it comes to India's bid for a reformed United Nations Security Council and for the temporary term as well, which India is going to be bidding? In fact, India has announced later this decade.
That requires a huge discussion because India is a huge country, a large country, but also a very significant country. The truth is that India, irrespective of its size, has specific characteristics which are particularly important not only for the region but also for the globe. First of all, India is the largest democracy in the universe, and we very much praise this, as we have been the first country to introduce democracy at ancient times. So we think that democratic values should be embedded in all international arena, and I think India is a particularly important actor in this respect. Furthermore, I think that India has a leading role in many respects in the international arena. First of all, I think that India connects south and north, west and east, and could be indeed the focal point when it comes to international discussion and debates about the future of the global governance. I especially referred to the leading role of India in the global south and in the G20. We think that India presents a model of economy which is very important in the sense that it produces wealth and prosperity for people. So we think that India should indeed play a more prominent role in the international scenery, especially when it comes to the reform of the United Nations Security Council. We think that India should indeed become a more important and all-embracing actor. The United Nations, essentially established almost 80 years ago, are still operating on the basis of that old times. We need to actually synchronize the United Nations with contemporary times, and I think the geopolitical role of India entails that it has a more active role. Obviously, we're going to embrace and support the candidacy of India when it comes to the non-permanent seat for the Security Council, but we think that India should be among the states that have a standing role within the United Nations, especially in its capacity as a leading nation of the Global South. Now, when it comes to the Olympic Games, you know that Greece has been the inaugural country of the Olympic Games. We very much cherish India's participation in the Olympic movement, and I think that it is important that Prime Minister Modi has announced that that India will be a candidate country for the Olympic Games. I think that this could be a huge impetus for India, not only to present the new image of India towards the world, but also to present the new model of governance, the new model of economy, and the new power that emerges out of India. The Olympic Games is a huge event, it's a global event, and I think it is, we should all support India's bid for the Olympic Games. It will be good for India, but good for the world as well.
That's great to hear. My next question is on the security and the military dimension. What kind of engagement we do expect in that aspect? We have seen the Indian participation in the military exercises in your country. We have seen the chiefs speaking as well, the military chiefs also speaking. So what is expected in terms of the security cooperation between these two countries?
As you know, we had some significant joint military exercises. I think this is a serious upgrade in our military cooperation. I think we have a lot of things to exchange. As you know, Greece has an important also maritime but also air fleet. And we have some very skilled military people. It is important to interact, to exchange know-how, to have joint exercises. We work for peace. Both nations, both India and Greece, are nations supporting peace and stability in their regions and in the globe. We also signed an MOU here. It was signed among the security advisors, and I think it is important to upgrade this relationship, especially because at contemporary times we encounter some huge challenges concerning security, and I think that it is about moment to start discussing about the international security architecture. The two wars in our broader region, the Middle East war and the Russian aggression against Ukraine, which produced the war in Ukraine, they are, I think, very strong signals that we need to revisit the idea of international architecture. We have encountered significant difficulties in the decision-making process, both on the level of the European Union as well as of the United Nations. We should start thinking more productively, more meaningfully when it comes to security concerns, and we need to start thinking of global governance as effective means to protect peace, prosperity, and stability.
So moving to the people-to-people relationship, we saw the Mobility Pact is something that is an ongoing conversation. When can this pact be concluded?
This is a very important agreement, and we have discussed extensively with Dr. Jaisanskar about the conclusion of this agreement. We have sent our notes and the draft text concerning this agreement, and we expect that this will be endorsed and signed in the very near future, by all means within 2024. I particularly place emphasis on the fact that this agreement refers both to skilled and unskilled workers. As you probably know, in Greece now we have a tremendous growth, economic growth. The unemployment is going down, and we urgently need also labor hands. So what we're trying to do is to conclude agreements in order to allow for legal pathways of working force to come to Greece. We especially need working hands in the fields of construction, tourism, leisure, and agriculture. And I think this is a prototype, a model agreement in order, on the one hand, to allow for the mobility of working forces, and on the other hand, to mitigate illegal migration, which is a true problem in the Mediterranean. So we expect to have this agreement being concluded in a very near future.
So Greece has one of the largest stakeholdership when it comes to global maritime presence. And undoubtedly, there are impact when it comes to the Red Sea crisis. How do you see the Red Sea crisis and its impact globally in terms of the maritime sphere?
We're very concerned. The situation in the Red Sea is producing a spillover effect, not only because it prohibits free trade and it poses a threat to the maritime security, but also because it exercises strong influence upon the neighboring countries. We know that almost 35% of the commercial movement through Suez has gone down. So Egypt is influenced strongly by this situation. What we really need to do is to have a global operation in order to protect maritime security. Indeed, there are in place two missions now in the Red Sea, one led by the United States with a number of states included, and another run by the European Union. Greece took the initiative to provide the headquarters for the latter operation, and we are participating with a frigate. We think it is important not only for maritime security and for the safety of all the people working in the maritime sector, but also because global security so requires. It is important to have a single voice when it comes to security threats, and I think in this respect, strong states, India, a very large nation, as well as Greece, a large maritime nation, should be together with one voice.
So briefly, I know time is running out. UNCLOS, the UN laws of seas, is something that we all are worried about. It's being violated, whether it's the Mediterranean or whether it's the Indo-Pacific. What's your stance on that?
We had very productive meetings with Indo-Pacific nations a couple of weeks ago when I was in Brussels for the EU Indo-Pacific Summit. I took the initiative to promote the relationship between our two regions, and I had multilateral and bilateral meetings with many Indo-Pacific states. I realized that we do share a huge concern about the implementation of the UNCLOS, of the international law of the sea. We do have same challenges, but I think we do have a common belief that it is only within the United Nations international scenery, and especially of UNCLOS, that we can live in peace and prosperity. Although there are many challenges when it comes to the implementation of the law of the sea, and especially issues of delineation of continental shelf and exclusive economic zone. What we really think is that all states should be actively involved in the preservation and further advancement of UNCLOS, and we're very optimistic that in the next few years the law of the seas will become a commonplace. After all, it is international law. It is also international customary law, essentially binding not only the signatories but all nations of the world. international law is not only a precondition, but also it is a necessary tool to achieve peace in the world.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure speaking to you here in Delhi. Thank you, sir.
It was an outstanding privilege. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.